How do, and welcome back. Well, today I'm brewing the Muntons Nut Brown Ale. It's your standard 40 pint kit, probably comes out at around about 4%, 4.5%. It doesn't actually say on the tin, usually they do, but this one doesn't. But it's your standard 40 pint 1 can kit, and they usually come out at around about 4.5%. Now, according to some reviews I've been reading about this, it's a sweet beer. However, according to the BJCP guidelines, nut brown ales, or what they call northern brown ales, are actually a dry beer. They're dry, and one of the taste characteristics is nuttiness. And I think they get that nuttiness from toasted malts. So as part of the specialty grain bill, so as well as using roasted malts, they also include toasted malts, and I think that's where that nutty flavour comes from. The southern brown ale doesn't have nuttiness as one of its flavour characteristics. So I'm thinking, based on the reviews, that this is more in line with a southern beer, which is sweeter and not as dry. That was another characteristic of a northern brown ale, and they actually use a nut brown as one of their commercially available example. They actually use Samuel Smith's nut brown ale. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some changes. I'm not just going to brew the kit as per instructions. And inspiration came when I read this book, the Complete Homebrew Beer Book, because they've got a recipe called brown ale with nuts. So you actually use nuts as part of your specialty grains. They recommend hazelnuts or almonds. I wanted almonds, but I couldn't find any. So what I've gone for is unsalted roasted hazelnuts, because I thought, well, they're roasted and they use roasted grains in making nut brown ale, so I thought, well, that might be good. So I'm using this unsalted roasted hazelnuts. They're very tasty. It's a 500 gram bag. But what I've done is I've measured out 450 grams and I've put them in this muslin hop sock. They're really tasty. It said they should be chopped nuts. I couldn't find any chopped nuts. So what I did is I just put them in a bag like this. And I just got an hammer. And I just lightly, very lightly, I didn't want to turn it to powder. I just tapped them all like that for about 5 minutes. And they just all splintered up and broke into small pieces. Now what's interesting, and I don't know why, they say these should steep for 90 minutes between 65 and 70 degrees. Usually you steep, well, grains you steep for about 30 minutes. So I don't know if it's because of the nuts that they've extended that and say, steep for 90 minutes. Maybe it takes longer for the flavour to come out of the nuts. But they do have some strange specialty grains that I've never heard of. Dehusked carafa malt, and there's also a carrot aroma and 6 Rose brewer's malt. They are specialty grains. Now whether some of those take longer to steep, longer to draw out the flavours, and hence it's 90 minutes, I don't know. But what I'm going to do is I've got this up to temperature now. I'm using my tea urn. I found my false bottom, so it's ready to go. It's come up to temperature. It's around about 67 degrees, and I'm going to put these in. And what I'm going to do is let them steep for 45 minutes, and then I'm going to take a taste. And if there's a nice pronounced nut flavour to the water, I'll just say, that's done. Or I'll just leave it for the full 90 minutes. I'm looking for a concentrated flavour, because obviously this is going to be diluted in 23 litres of water. So let me just put these in now, and let's get the show on the road, because there we go, just pop them in. Yeah, it could take a while, so the sooner I start, the better. Then what I'm going to do is, say after the 45 or 90 minutes, I'm going to take these nuts out, and I'm going to bring this up to the boil in the urn, and I'll use that to dilute the extract in the fermenter. And what I'll be using as extra fermentables is, well, one of the characteristics, it's a dry beer, so I don't want it too malty. So what I'm going to do is just use 500 grams of the medium. I thought I had the bag on hand, and I thought, well, I'll use medium malt, it seems fitting as well for a brown ale. So it's 500 grams of this and 1 kilogram of dextrose, or brewing sugar, and that will give me a nice dryness to the beer. Okay, so I've just got to wait now, 45 minutes. I'll do a quick taste and then make a decision if it needs to go longer. So I'll see you shortly. Well, what do you know? My battery died. I should really get a replacement, or find some sort of portable power station. I can plug it in, like a power bank for your phones. Yeah, and I had to carry on because I had all this boiling water. So basically what I did is I took the nuts out at 90 minutes. I gave it the full 1.5 hours. After about 45 minutes, there was a nut taste there, but only like a slight one. It was very nice though, after 90 minutes. So yeah, I think that's why it says in the book to steep for 90 minutes. It's because of the nuts. What I did then is I took the nuts out and I brought it up to the boil. Wow, it really foams up. It was all bubbling on the seam of the lid here. But it came to a boil, pasteurised, and it was a really nice sort of milky colour was the water. And then it was just like building a kit. So I poured this into the fermenter, I added the extract, added the extra fermentables, and I've topped it up to 20 litres. And the eagle-eyed among you, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but you may have seen the LED on the STC 1000. It's set at 35 degrees, and that's because I'm using Kveik. I had a sachet of Lutra Kveik, and I thought I'll use that. It's a nice, very clean tasting yeast, so that'll help me detect maybe if there's a nutty flavour in the actual finished beer. The beer itself is standing at about 10.56. I haven't done the maths, but I'm thinking that's going to be like a 5.5% beer, maybe pushing 6% by the time it's finished. Let's have a taste and see if I can pick anything out. Oh yes, that's nice. Now obviously this is going to be sweeter than the final beer, but it's not over the sweet already. But right at the back, once you get rid of all the, not rid of, but once that malt flavour's gone, yeah, you do get a little bit of that nut coming through. But we'll have to wait and see. You know, during the fermentation process, things can change, but I'm enjoying that. They do say, let me just reach over here, they do say if you want to add some more nut flavour, you can buy one of these. So I did. It's hazelnut natural flavourings, and just before bottling it recommends about 5 ml of this if you want a bit more nuttiness. It comes with like a little pipette, like an eyedropper, so I thought I could just put one drop in each bottle if I wanted a bit more flavour. At the end of the day, a nut brown ale is, I think it started with the colour. I think it was to do with the nut brown. It had this sort of like deep hazelnutty conker looking colour. But ironically, it's also a tasting note, nuttiness. But I think that's more of a characteristic because of the dryness and the toasted malt that they use. It's got the characteristic of a nuttiness. Sometimes you've got to use these descriptions loosely. But hey, why not? Let's put some hazelnut natural flavourings in a nut brown ale and see what it tastes like. It'll be nice for this time of year, autumn, and the nuts and things. Right, so that's it. Sorry I couldn't film me actually putting it together, but it's a kit. It's a kit, and I've done those before. But it'll be an interesting beer when it's finished, and because I'm using Lutra, it should be finished this time next week. So it'll be a nice one to try. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a pleasant day, and as always, I'll see you again in the next video. Bye bye for now.